Shalom, everybody. Welcome back. Insights in the parashah of the week, Parshat Shemot. And just a reminder, if these classes are inspiring you, please share them onto your status and whatever other social media you may have. Thank you. So, in this week's parsha, of course, there's many highlights. One of the big highlights is the end of the parsha, when where Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, "You're going to go to Paro, right? You're going to tell him, let my people go, etc." And Hashem already tells Moshe Rabbeinu, and Paro is not going to listen to you until I show him Mayada Chazaka, which means like the 10 plagues. Only then he will give in. Which means that Moshe Rabbeinu knew beforehand already, even when he would first go to meet Paro, that Paro would not listen. Okay? What's interesting is that after Moshe initially met the first time Paro, so Paro did something which was seemingly unexpected to Moshe Rabbeinu. He made the work harder for the Jews. Tichbad ha'avodah. Make the burden harder. Don't give them the straw, and they have to fetch the straw for themselves, and they have to make the same amount of bricks as when the straw was given to them. So on the Pshat level of the Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu in a sense burst out and he said, the wording is Lama hare'ota. Why did you make it worse for this Lam Hazeh? Right? Lama hare'ota Lam Hazeh. The third last pasuk of the Parsha. Why did you make it bad for them? In other words, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Paro's not going to listen. But he didn't say anything about that he's going to make it worse for the Jews. So in a sense, this came as a surprise to Moshe Rabbeinu. And at that point, on the Pshat level of the Parsha, he couldn't handle it. And he opened up. He burst out to Hashem, why did you do bad? Right? That not only you're not saving, but now it's just making it even worse. And Moshe Rabbeinu, on the simple level, he felt such pain because he was such a Rachaman. He was a compassionate leader. So like Rashi says also, and if you ask me, why do I care? He said, because you sent me. You sent me to do your job, to shlichut, and now it's even worse. So in a sense, there was a type of a frustration. And in the end, we see he was punished for it. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Ata yireh, now you will see what I will do to Paro and Mitzrayim. And Rashi says, you'll see now, but you won't see the conquering of the 31 kings of the Holy Land to take over the Holy Land. That you won't see. I won't let you into the Holy Land, okay? So on a simple level, why was Moshe Rabbeinu punished? What did he do wrong? I mean, isn't it justified? He went, Hashem told him, the Paro is not going to listen. You're going to get the Jews out. I'm telling you beforehand, it's not going to happen until I reveal my 10 plagues. So it wasn't expected that Paro was going to make it worse. It was worse. So he, with such pain, went to speak to Hashem as if on behalf of the Jewish people. Why make it worse for them? You didn't save them. So he was punished for the way he spoke, okay? So the question is, but what else was he supposed to do? To be quiet? Oh, Hashem, that's what you want, okay? But he's a compassionate leader. What do you want from him? So the Torah Tamima says something amazing. Torah Tamima says, Moshe Rabbeinu was so great that he did this purposely. When he saw, because the Parsha says that the Shotrim, the police officers, the Jewish kapos who were put in charge, they came to Paro saying, what are you doing to us? You're making it impossible. You're telling us to make the same quota of bricks, and we have to fetch the straw ourselves. And Paro said to these are the righteous police officers, Nirpim, Atem, Nirpim, you guys are lazy. That's why you're asking to have a chag. I'll teach you a lesson, and made it worse. So Rashi brings down, these were the righteous police officers who were in pain seeing the Jewish people having to suffer more. But there was a second group of police officers who were in fact Datan and Aviram, the troublemakers. Okay? And the verse says that after the police officers, I guess including the kosher and these two, Datan and Aviram, went to complain in front of Paro, and he said what he said. So when they came out, it says, Vayifgeu et Moshe v'et Aharon nitzavim likratam. And they bumped into, Pigi'ah, this funny word, Vayifgeu, Moshe and Aharon, standing, facing them, when they came out from before Paro, the police officers, about the complaint. And they started to challenge, and insult Moshe and Aaron, Moshe mainly. ואמרו להם, ין Hashem alechem v'yishpot. They said to Moshe and Aaron, right, may Hashem look upon you and judge that you should be guilty, that if you're guilty. Why? Asher yivashtem et rechenu b'nei Paro, because you made us stink. You made us have a stench, a bad stench, in the eyes of Paro, b'nei avadav, in the eyes of his servants, as if latet chev bi'adam lehorgenu, as if to give them a sword in their hand to kill us. And that's what squeezed Moshe Rabbeinu. They couldn't handle it, okay? So the Torah Tamima says that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he saw this, when he saw that it reached that level, that it was so bad, and the Jewish people were suffering, and plus there was this pressure from Datan and Aviram, so Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to atone and to mitigate the severity of the judgment against the Jewish people. So he purposely put himself in this situation where, as if he spoke in a very tough way towards Shamayim. Right? Moshe said to Hashem, why did you make it bad? By saying this and then getting punished, he did this purposely, the Torah Tamima says, in order to mitigate from the difficulty of Am Yisrael. Because that is the job of a faithful leader, that he does his best to take away the burden from Am Yisrael. That's what a tzaddik does. A tzaddik hador, tzaddik of the generation like Moshe Rabbeinu, his job is to make easy for the Jewish people when it's hard for them, to ease the difficulty and the pain. So Moshe Rabbeinu purposely put himself in such a constricted level and to as if speak out towards against Hashem. Why did you do bad to the Jewish people? All this in order that he should also get in trouble technically, and that way mitigate from the severity of the Jewish people. But nonetheless, the picture remains that yes, it became a bit more difficult before the redemption. As if it wasn't difficult already, the Jews were in slavery and bondage and avodat parech, work that was breaking them. So why make it worse? Rabbi Nachman teaches this is the process when a person is about to come to a major breakthrough in salvation. And that, when you're getting closer and closer to an amazing salvation and a breakthrough and a change and opening in life, the tendency, the way is, that it gets even harder. And in a sense, it's a difficulty that comes to you unexpected, so you don't mentally, rationally know how to handle it. And it's like someone who pulls the rug from under your feet, and you say, "Whoa, what happened?" Okay, this attitude is hinted to in the word pigi'ah, because the verse reads about Datan and Aviram, "Vayifgeu et Moshe v'et Aaron nitzavim likratam," and they bumped into this word pigi'ah. They bumped into Moshe and Aharon. And these were who? The people were nitzavim. Nitzavim, Rashi says, first the people were troublemakers. Machloket, strife makers. Datan and Aviram. Okay? So they were pogea in Moshe and Aharon. Rav Nosson in Likutey Moharan. This is Birkat Hoda ala Chavav. He opens up this world of the word pigi'ah in context to Yaakov Avinu. We find the same word by Yaakov Avinu in the story of Parshat Vayetze, of the dream of Jacob's ladder. So it says Vayifga b'makom, that Yaakov went all the way to Haran. He left Beersheba, went all the way to Haran. He said, could it be that I passed by the place that my ancestors, Avraham and Yitzchak, davened in, Yerushalayim, the place of the Holy Temple, and I didn't stop there to daven for success in my journey? So he went back. Rashi brings down, quoting the Gemara and the Midrash, that Hashem made what's called kfitzat haderech, that the land terrain was shortened so he can arrive there much faster. So that's the word vayifga. It learns from the pigia, which means a sudden, unexpected meeting. Okay? Rav Nosson opens this up to something deeper, and he says pigia also means to bounce, a bouncing, pogea. It's a bouncing and hitting and bouncing back, pigia in Hebrew. Bamakom. The makom, Rav Nosson explains there, is referring to the highest possible level. It's called the keter, which is the gateway to Hashem's infinite light. And it's impossible to perceive it, and yet it's the tendency of a human being, of a Jew, to pursue this infinite light. So, but when you reach too close, and you're about to go through, and if you go through, you will disintegrate, you'll disappear, because it's impossible for a finite being to grasp that which is infinite. So by Yaakov it says, Vayifga b'makom. he bounced back in the makom, which is a reference to this high level called the keter, the high sphere called the keter, which contains behind it the gateway to the infinite light. So he bounced back. And this bounce, Rabbi Nachman explains in Likutey Moharan lesson 24, is of absolute necessity for a Jew's spiritual growth. If you want to grow, you want to have a clear perception of Hashem in your life, you have to accept these challenges of the bounce back and to believe that your attitude in the bounce back will determine the whole continuity of your spiritual growth. How you take the bounce back in a positive vein and a not giving up attitude, that will determine how much you receive the light. Because Rabbi Nachman teaches there that when you bounce back, and again, you do it properly, you create vessels, 9 vessels they're called, and 9 chambers, with which within them they become vessels to receive your perception of the infinite light, but in a format called mate vela mate, reaching and not reaching, touching and not touching. Okay? So here also, this parsha is now the preparation for the 10 plagues. The 10 plagues play a major role in world history and in the role of the rectification of the world. The number 10 we see repeats itself many times, a few times in the Torah. The noticeable ones is the 10 in the Kabbalah, the 10 sfirot that Hashem brought into existence at the beginning of creation. And then we have in the actual Bible, the Chumash, Parshat, Bereshit, the 10 utterances, the Asara Mamarot. Okay? There's also 10 generations to Noach, 10 generations to Avram Avinu. But then noticeably are the 10 plagues here in this week coming up in the book of Exodus. And eventually the 10 commandments at Har Sinai, the receiving of the Torah. Okay? The 10 sfirot, and they all have a correlation obviously. In them, the number 10, the 10th, the highest sphera is called the Keter, which is like a quasi-sphera. It's a gateway to the infinite light, and yet it's part of the 10 sphirot. It's in and out, the Keter, okay? So this parashah, Exodus, is preparation, the exile is preparation for the Exodus, and the Exodus is to receive the Torah at Har Sinai, and with that Torah, the 10 utterances, the 10 commandments of the Torah, the Jews then eventually entered the Holy Land and eventually built a Holy Temple. And with the Holy Temple, like the Mishnah states, was completed the 10 levels of holiness in the world. Of them, I think the bulk of them were in Eretz Yisrael, or all of them. 10 levels of Kedusha in Eretz Yisrael and in the Beit HaMikdash. Okay, the Holy of Holy Holies, this is listed in the Mishnah. Fine. So this number 10 continues to get to the final destination of Yerushalayim, the temple, the Holy of Holies, to reach the number 10th, the 10th Kedusha, number 10 being the Holy of Holies. All this already started from the beginning of creation to get to stage by stage until you reach that stage there, okay? So because this parsha is preparing for the 10 plagues, that within the 10 plagues, even though it was a plague for Egypt, it was also miracles for the Jewish people because they're prerequisites to receive the 10 commandments of the Torah at Har Sinai on Shavuot, okay? So because it's such a high breakthrough, there has to be a pigi'ah, a bounce back. This is hinted to in this week's parsha, where it says, Vayifge'u et Moshe ve'et Aharon. So who got the pigi'ah? Mainly the leaders being Moshe and Aharon. In other words, they got bounced back. What was the bounce back? This unexpected treatment of the Jewish people. That Pharaoh said, Tichbad avodah, make it worse. Instead of making it better or status quo, it became even worse. As if they weren't suffering enough already as it is. Sorry. They made it even worse now. So why is this worse? This attitude being worse is a real bounce back. It's not just now staying there. It's being bounced backwards. It's a frustration. What's going on? You know, we're trying to survive. We're trying to be Jews. We're trying to serve Hashem. And we're lo zo av zo. Not only are we not advancing, but we're being pushed backwards. At least let me wait here. No, you're being pushed downwards, okay? This is necessary in order to reach the next high level, which in the case of this parsha, the preparation for the upcoming 10 plagues, which is a Parshat Va'era and Parshat Bo, this pigi'ah, this bounce back is necessary. So you said again, in summary, you see that the parsha could have said, and the Jews were in Egypt and in slavery, and then Hashem chose Moshe Rabbeinu at the burning bush to take them out, and he came to Egypt and he started beginning the process of taking them out. No, we have a different scenario, that it got worse. Moshe Rabbeinu it comes to Pharaoh. Hashem sends Moshe Rabbeinu in shlichut, okay, and things got worse. The Midrash says the Moshe Rabbeinu was also had an interest, Hashem's honor. Moshe Rabbeinu said to Hashem, I went as your messenger. So now you make it look bad for you too, chas v'shalom. That when the Jewish people and the Egyptians, I came in the name of God, and then Pharaoh makes it even worse, and you let it happen, Hashem Yitbarach. The Midrash says that the decree to take the Jewish children and put them in the missing bricks, the bricks that were missing, so they took the bodies of Jewish kids, they slaughtered them and squeezed them alive. They squeezed them alive into the wall to make up for the quota of bricks that were missing because they didn't have enough time to collect the straw and make enough quota of the bricks, right? So it became so worse, okay? All this, like we said, was the preparation for the next high, because that's how it is in life. Whenever the Keter, the infinite light, at any level you're holding, is going to shine a big light, which is considered a breakthrough and a new stepping stone in your life, there's always an initial pigia, bounce back. And in this case, the pigia was given to Moshe and Aharon, and Moshe and Aharon eventually also were punished. They didn't get into the Holy Land, and it's already started from this incident in this week's parasha. And like we said, quoting the Torah Tamima, which is so beautiful, it fits in nicely, Moshe and Aaron did it purposely in order to give leverage that it wouldn't be as bad as it could have been, the decree, so to lighten the judgment on the Jewish people. We should be zocheh to take any time we have a pigia in life, which is a bouncing back, and we're frustrated and bewildered, just to hold on. Hold on to simple faith, emunah, and simcha, that this is just a preparation stage, and I have to be patient. Just wait for it to pass until I can advance again further. Bezrat Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.